Grimm's Fairy Tales, The Sleeping Beauty. Written by Sylvia Perrotta, illustrated by Cecilia Johansson. If you'd like to buy the book, check in the link description down below. Once there were a king and a queen of a faraway country who had everything they could possibly want. There was only one thing missing in their lives: a son or daughter to inherit their kingdom. "How I wish to have a child," sighed the queen as she walked alone in the royal gardens. Just then, a frog jumped out in her path. "Do not be sad," croaked the frog. "Before long, you will have a child." And he was right. A year later, the queen gave birth to a baby girl. The king was overjoyed and ordered a great christening feast. He invited all the nobles of the land. The fairies were invited too, so they would present his daughter with magic gifts. "But we can't invite all 13 of them," said the queen. "We only have 12 golden dishes." Preparation for the feast began, and soon the day of the christening arrived. The 12 invited fairies gathered beside the baby's cradle. "I give you the gift of wisdom," said the first fairy. "I give you beauty," said the second fairy. "And I give you strength," said the third fairy. One by one, the other fairies stepped forward. "I give you confidence. I give you patience, friendliness, health, love, happiness, riches, kindness." Soon only the 12th fairy remained to present her gift. She was about to speak when there came a clap of thunder, and the 13th, an uninvited fairy, flew into the room. "Good evening, your majesties," she rasped. "I've come to give the little princess a very special gift. When she's 15 years old, she will prick her finger on a spindle and die." Everyone in the room gasped. The wicked fairy looked around in triumph, then disappeared with another clap of thunder. The 12 fairies stepped forward. "Your Majesty," she said to the queen, "I still have to give the princess my gift. I can't reverse the curse, for my magic isn't strong enough, but I can soften it. The princess will not die when she picks her finger on the spindle. She will merrily fall asleep for 100 years. The very next day, the king ordered all the spinning wheels in the country to be burned. Time passed and everyone forgot about the curse. On the morning of her 15th birthday, the princess went to explore parts of the palace she had never been to before. Soon she came with a curious tower with a narrow staircase. At the top of was a door, and behind the door was a dusty little room. "Hello, my dear," the princess jumped. There was an old lady sitting in the corner of the room, dressed entirely in black. "What are you doing?" asked the princess. "Spinning," said the old lady. Twirling the wheel on a strange machine, the princess came closer to have a better look. The old woman smiled. "That's the spindle," she said. "You can touch it if you like." "Ouch!" the princess cried as she pricked herself in the sharp spindle, and a drop of blood mushroomed on the finger. "Happy birthday, my dear," crackled the old woman, who was, of course, the wicked fairy in disguise. The princess fell onto a couch, at once lost in deep sleep almost instantly. Everyone else in the palace fell asleep too. Before long, a thick hedge of thorny bushes grew around the palace, shutting it off from the world. Years passed and the hedge grew as thick as a forest. Many people tried to slash their way through, hoping to find the palace and the princess who was said to be sleeping within, but no one succeeded. Then, almost 100 years later, a prince from a faraway country came by on his brown charger. The prince had heard about the Sleeping Beauty and he got off his horse. He managed to somehow get through the hedge and to the palace. He began to explore, stepping carefully over the people and animals asleep in the palace. At last he found himself in a little tower room. There was a spinning wheel in the corner, and on the couch lay the Sleeping Beauty. She looked so beautiful, the prince couldn't help himself. He bent down and kissed her on the lips. The princess stirred and opened her eyes. "You're here at last," she whispered. The prince looked so handsome. The princess fell in love with him straight away. The prince helped her princess to get on her feet, and they walked slowly down the narrow stairs hand in hand. As they moved room to room, everyone in the palace gradually woke up. The prince and the princess were married right there and then, and lived happily and contentedly for the rest of their lives. The end.